Imagine getting out of an endless cycle of debt, frustration, and postponed dreams to achieve a life of freedom and purpose. This is the story of Melissa, a teacher who transformed her reality by discovering the power of manifestation. But what seemed like an absolute victory took an unexpected turn, testing her emotional limits and redefining what prosperity truly means. Get ready for moments of emotion, overcoming challenges, and a surprising ending that will warm your heart. Before we begin, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss impactful stories like this one. You know that moment when you look at your life and realize you're stuck in an endless cycle? That's exactly how I felt. My name is Melissa, I'm 28 years old, and until recently, my life felt like a black and white movie repeating every day. Miss Melissa, could you stay an extra hour today? Teacher Sarah had to leave early, the school principal asked for the third time that week. As always, I said yes, even though my body was begging for rest. After another exhausting day of teaching, I returned to my tiny apartment, a place that felt more like a shoebox with a mini kitchen. I threw my bag on the worn-out sofa and looked at the pile of bills on the table. Past due electricity bill, rent coming up, and my salary? Well, it barely covered the basics. Honey, you need to think about giving private lessons, my mom suggested over the phone. Or maybe look for a private school. Mom, I've tried. They ask for experience in private schools. It's an endless cycle, I replied, holding back tears of frustration. That night, lying in bed, I began to mentally calculate, $2,800 a month, minus $1,200 for rent, $200 for electricity and gas, $400 for food. Every penny counted, every dream postponed. My credit card was maxed out, and the only luxury I allowed myself was a coffee at the bakery on Sundays. Melissa, did you see that Sarah got that spot at the private school? My colleague Rachel commented during the break. That's great for her, I replied, forcing a smile while my stomach churned with anxiety. At night, alone in my apartment, I picked up my old phone with the cracked screen, another reminder of my financial situation. Scrolling through social media, I saw old college friends traveling, buying houses, living the life I dreamed of having. You're educated, intelligent, you work so hard. How can you be in this situation? I asked myself as tears streamed down my face. It was on one of those nights of silent venting that something different happened. Among posts of travel and ads for things I couldn't buy, a video caught my attention. It was about the law of attraction and financial manifestation. Normally, I would ignore this type of content, but something in the speaker's words touched me deeply. You are not stuck in your current reality. Your thoughts create your reality. In that moment, something within me stirred. It was as if a small flame of hope had been lit. Of course, I was skeptical. After all, how could positive thoughts pay my bills? But when you hit rock bottom, any light, no matter how small, feels like a beacon of hope. That morning, I woke up earlier than usual. Sitting at my tiny kitchen table with a cup of cheap coffee, I opened a new notebook, my manifestation journal, as I decided to call it. This is nonsense, I thought to myself as I wrote my first affirmations. But I kept going. I am capable of creating abundance. Money flows easily into my life. Opportunities appear naturally in my path. Melissa, you seem different, Rachel commented during class break. There's something in your eyes. Really? It must be because I'm sleeping better, I replied, not mentioning my new morning practices. I didn't want them to think I was crazy. The truth is, something was changing, even if subtly. During my classes, I began to have different ideas for teaching. Instead of the same repetitive lessons, I brought in more creative elements. "Teacher, your class is way more fun," said Pedro, one of my most challenging students, after a new activity I created. At home, every night, I visualized my ideal life. I saw myself working from anywhere, with my laptop, earning in dollars. It was a dream that felt far away, but it warmed my heart. "Honey, did you see this online course on digital business?" My mom sent me a link via WhatsApp. I saw they have scholarships. Normally, I would ignore it. After all, $497 was a lot of money for me. But something inside me said it was time to take a risk. What if I use my credit card limit? I thought aloud, looking at my bank statement. "Are you crazy?" my sister said when I told her about the course. "With all those bills to pay?" But for the first time in a long time, I felt an inexplicable certainty. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and enrolled in the course. During the first online classes, I realized a new world was opening up. Terms like digital marketing, copywriting, and online sales started to become part of my vocabulary. "I can't explain it," I told Rachel, who noticed my enthusiasm. "It's like I'm waking up from a long sleep." At night, before going to bed, I added a new affirmation to my journal: "I am grateful for all the doors that are opening in my life." Each day is a new opportunity for growth. And so, between written affirmations and nightly visualizations, small changes began to happen. They weren't big transformations yet, but for the first time in years, I felt like I was in control of my life. "Another month in the red," I murmured, staring at the bank screen. 3 months had passed since I started my manifestation practices, and my financial situation remained the same. In fact, it was even worse. "Melissa, you need to be realistic," my mom said during Sunday lunch. "This manifestation story. I don't know. Why don't you work overtime at school?" I swallowed hard, holding back tears. "Mom, I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like I'm on the right path." At home, I sat in front of the mirror and faced myself. My tired eyes reflected sleepless nights studying digital marketing. Bills piled up on the kitchen table, and the credit card was maxed out. "You're throwing money away," my sister warned when she saw I had invested in a copywriting course. "With that money, you could have paid 3 installments on your car." The worst part wasn't the external criticism, but the voice inside my head that was starting to agree with them. Every notification of a past due bill felt like a punch in the stomach. "Rachel, sometimes I think I'm living an illusion," I vented to my friend during break. "What if they're right?" "Mel, look, you're different. More focused, more determined. Doesn't that count for something?" That night, I sat down to do my affirmations, but the words felt empty. I picked up my manifestation journal and reread the first pages. "You're an idiot," I told myself. "Thinking that pretty words are going to change your life." I was about to throw the journal in the trash when my phone vibrated. It was a notification from LinkedIn, a message from an international company. "We're looking for professionals with experience in education for a remote project." My heart raced. It was exactly what I had visualized. But soon, fear settled in. "You're not good enough," the voice of doubt whispered. I looked at the journal in my hands, then at the message on my phone. I took a deep breath. "I'm not going to give up now," I said out loud, as if declaring it to the universe. "Not after coming this far." With trembling hands, I started to respond to the message. The voice of doubt was still there, but now there was another voice, stronger, telling me this could be the beginning of the change I had been waiting for. "I feel like I'm living a dream," I typed in my digital journal while having breakfast on the balcony. It was no longer the cheap coffee from before, now I allowed myself little luxuries. The laptop screen showed my new bank balance, $4,782. 00. I blinked a few times, still in disbelief. It was more money than I had ever seen in my account. How did you do it? Rachel asked during our weekly coffee. It seems like it happened overnight. Actually, it didn't, I replied, stirring my cappuccino. It was months of preparation. You know those visualizations I used to do? That's exactly what I imagined. My phone vibrated, another notification from LinkedIn. Another company interested in my work. I smiled, remembering how my hands had trembled when I responded to the first message. Director, I called, entering her office. I need to talk about something important. She looked at me over her glasses. You're going to quit, aren't you? How did you? Melissa, you're glowing. I've seen that look before, it's the look of someone who has found their path. I went home that day feeling a mix of emotions. I opened my old manifestation journal and found a specific page. I work from anywhere in the world, doing what I love. Honey, are you sure? My mom asked when I told her about the resignation. A steady job is safer. Mom, I held her hands. Remember when you said I needed to be realistic? Look, I am being. For the first time, I'm truly looking at reality. I can create the life I want. That night, I sat on my balcony with my laptop. On the screen, several tabs open: flight tickets, hotel reservations, travel insurance. I can't believe you're really going to Paris. Rachel screamed on the phone when I told her. Me neither, I laughed, looking at the newly purchased ticket. But you know what's crazier? It's not even the trip itself. It's realizing that we can really create our reality. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, feeling the night breeze. Somewhere, that scared Melissa, who wrote affirmations without truly believing in them, still existed. But now she knew, they weren't just words on a paper. The universe truly responds, I whispered to myself, but first we need to take the first step. And there, planning my first international trip, I understood that the biggest leap wasn't professional or financial, it was the leap of confidence in myself. Honey, my mom's voice trembled on the other end of the line. I need to tell you something. My world stopped. I was sitting in my makeshift office, about to enter an online meeting with international clients. Her diagnosis hit me like a bolt of lightning on a clear day. How could you not know she wasn't well? My sister demanded, her voice heavy with accusation. How long has it been since you visited? I swallowed hard. I realized I couldn't remember the last time I had gone home. I was so focused on manifesting my new life that. Rachel, I messed everything up, I vented during a video call. I got so lost seeking success that I forgot what really matters. Mel, don't blame yourself. You were building your future. What future is that which made me forget my own mother? That night, I sat with my manifestation journal. The pages were filled with financial goals, travel plans, professional objectives. But where was my family in those plans? You don't have to choose, my boss said when I explained the situation. Our work is 100% remote, remember? I looked at my half-packed suitcase. Paris would have to wait. Honey, you don't need to come back, my mom insisted on the phone. You built a life there. Mom, I interrupted, tears streaming down my face, the life I've built only makes sense if I can share it with the ones I love. On the flight back, I opened my journal to a new page. Not to write affirmations of success or grand goals, but to rethink the true meaning of abundance. You can work from my sewing room, My mother smiled when I arrived. There's still that old little table. The same one I studied at in high school. I laughed, feeling the familiar scent of the house. I organized my new workspace. The latest model laptop looked strange on the old wooden table, but somehow it made sense. It was as if the past and present were meeting. You know, I said to my mom while we had tea in the kitchen, I thought manifesting just meant attracting good things. But sometimes, it's the tough moments that show us what really matters. She squeezed my hand, her eyes shining with contained tears. That night, I wrote a new affirmation: I am grateful for having the resources and freedom to be where I truly need to be. Do you remember these photos? My mom asked, flipping through an old album while we waited for the test results. Here you were 5 years old, always saying you were going to change the world. I looked at the smiling girl in the photo, holding a book bigger than she was. And in a way, I did change it, right? Just that. Just that what, daughter? I think I was changing the wrong world, I confessed, adjusting her blanket. Focusing on things and forgetting about people. Between one online meeting and another, I started doing something different. Every morning, I would sit with my mom in the garden to practice visualization together. Imagine the sunlight entering every cell of your body, I guided her one day. Each ray bringing more strength, more health. Melissa, she gently laughed, since when did you become a coach? It's not coaching, Mom. It's believing. Like you taught me when I was little, remember? If you can dream it, you can achieve it. One afternoon, while organizing old boxes in the attic, I found my first diary. On the first page, in childish handwriting, it said, I want to make people happy. You've always been like that, my sister commented during dinner. You just forgot for a while. The big moment came on an ordinary Tuesday. The doctor looked at the new tests, then at us, and smiled. The results are surprising, he said. The treatment is working better than expected. In the car, on the way home, my mom held my hand. You know, daughter, it wasn't just the treatment. It was having you here. It was believing alongside me. That night, I sat on the old swing in the yard. My phone vibrated, another international job offer. But this time, something was different. It wasn't just about money or success. Rachel, I called my friend, I finally understood. Understood what? The true manifestation. It's not about attracting good things into our lives. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves so we can impact the lives of others. I opened my current journal and, alongside financial and professional goals, added something new. I manifest love, healing, and connection in all my relationships. The sun was setting on the horizon, painting the sky pink and orange. I realized that I had manifested something much greater than money or professional success. I had manifested a return home, not just physically, but to my true essence. And that's how I realized that prosperity is so much more than money. I spoke into the microphone, looking at the audience of 200 people. It's being able to choose to be present in the moments that matter. My mother was in the front row, her eyes shining with pride. Recovered, she now accompanied me to some talks, a living reminder of the power of manifestation. You know what impresses me the most? Rachel commented after the event. How you manage to balance everything now. I smiled, grabbing my coffee. It's because I stopped trying to control everything. I learned to flow. My phone rang. It was Sarah, one of the women I mentored last month. Melissa, I did it. I paid the last installment of my debt. Her voice overflowed with joy. And how do you feel? Free. But you know what's even more amazing? Yesterday, I helped my neighbor with the techniques you taught me. I went home that night thinking about how everything had changed. My office still had a view of the garden, but now it's shared space with family photos and thank you cards. Daughter, my mom said during our weekly tea, do you remember when you thought success was having a fat bank account? And now I see that success is being able to have tea with you on a Tuesday afternoon, I replied, holding her hand. I opened my current journal, so different from that first notebook full of financial goals. Now, every page had a greater purpose. Today I helped 3 women start their businesses. I donated 30% of the workshop profits to the local shelter. I created a scholarship fund for young female entrepreneurs. The money keeps coming, I explained in an online interview, but now it's a means, not an end. At night, sitting on the porch, I reflected on my journey. The laptop showed my new bank balance, higher than ever. But that wasn't what made my heart smile. And you, I whispered to the universe, whoever is listening to this now, have you ever stopped to think about what prosperity truly means to you? I closed my eyes, feeling the evening breeze. Tomorrow would be another day of work, another day of impact, another day of manifestations, not just for me, but for everyone I could reach. Because in the end, I wrote on the last page of my journal, the greatest manifestation is realizing that we are all connected. And that your abundance is only true when it overflows and reaches other hearts. That was the inspiring story of Melissa and her transformation journey. If you also believe in the power of change and want to attract more prosperity into your life, leave your like and share in the comments what touched you most about this story. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to keep up with more thrilling accounts that can change your perspective. Your interaction is essential for us to continue bringing these stories that inspire and transform lives. Thank you for watching and see you next time.